I am a member of Brighton Feminist Collective, but I also work at Brighton Women's Centre, and although I feel like I can't speak on behalf of everyone who works there, I can talk about what I've seen in the time that I've been working there. I've worked at the centre for about just over a month now, and I've been amazed and astounded by some of the things that I've seen that have happened there. And the Women's Centre is kind of one of those areas where there's a lot of unsung heroes. There's a lot of stuff going on that day to day perhaps isn't noticed in Brighton, but it's vitally important. I was remarkably moved tonight. I don't know how many people saw from the back of the march just how phenomenal it was. We were walking right at the very back and coming down the hill from the station. There was just this massive line of signs and banners and flags, and it was really, really remarkable. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually felt incredibly safe, and I felt incredibly proud, and I felt like I was really genuinely helping people to take back the streets, and that's an unusual feeling, especially on a Saturday night in Brighton, in the middle of the city. And a safe space is something that's quite important to us at the Women's Centre. When we were planning and we were advertising Reclaim the Night, one of those internet discussions popped up on a Facebook page that I'm involved in, saying, why do we need a Reclaim the Night in Brighton? It's perfectly safe. If you don't want to walk down a certain street, just go somewhere else. And it kind of reminded me that in many ways, there's a lot of people in Brighton for whom it's a little liberal bubble. And perhaps they don't realise quite the extent of what happens beyond that little liberal bubble where we pretend that everything's nice and happy and fine in Brighton. At the Women's Centre, we see a lot of that hidden Brighton. We see women coming to us because they need a safe space, they need somewhere to be secure. Sometimes that's just because they're lonely. Brighton's an easy city to feel lonely in. Sometimes it's because they're experiencing violence or isolation at home, and it's their escape, it's a place to get away from that. Sometimes it's because things have happened in their lives that they need to come and they need to feel safe and they need to feel secure, and the Women's Centre provides that. In the work that I do at the Women's Centre, I work with women who are ex-offenders, another group of people who feel very isolated, who feel very lonely, and quite often have moved into offending behaviour because they've experienced violence, because they've experienced isolation, because they've experienced sexual attacks. And I think it's really important that we remind people that that does exist, that hidden Brighton is there. The Women's Centre also provides a lot of remarkable things that are really empowering as well. And I don't want to leave the impression that everyone that comes to the Women's Centre comes and leaves us as a victim, because I think this is where it really links into that notion of reclaiming. Reclaim is a really powerful word, and the women that come to the Women's Centre reclaim their power while they're there. Within the Women's Centre, we have groups such as the Wish Group, women who are involved in self-help, and they do amazing things, artwork, and providing solidarity for each other. They're gaining back their power. We have groups where women support each other who have been victims of domestic violence. They're regaining their power, they're talking about things, they're opening up. The women that I work with, they're working with mentors to move on in their lives, to go to university, to get a job, to get on a college course. They're regaining and they're reclaiming their power. And that's one of the great and honourable things about working at the Women's Centre, is seeing women reclaiming their power as they go along. I think if we bring it back to Reclaim the Night, one of the things that we should take away is that this is a beginning. We reclaimed Brighton tonight, we reclaimed the streets, but we need to continue to reclaim our power. We need to honour those hidden women that I've been working with and that I've been talking about, and we need to honour ourselves and make sure that we don't end the fight here, that we continue to reclaim Brighton, that Reclaim the Night becomes a regular thing, that we aren't afraid to walk down our streets, and that we take back Brighton as ours. Thank you.